Make them curious, make them want more. Stoicism. In today's fast-paced world, attention spans are shorter than ever. If someone isn't thinking about you, they are likely thinking about someone else. That's the harsh reality of modern attraction. However, there's a common misconception that many people have: constantly trying to prove your worth, being overly available, and chasing after someone doesn't make you irresistible, it actually makes you forgettable. Think about it: when was the last time you truly craved something that was handed to you on a silver platter? When something is too easily accessible, our minds tend to stop wondering about it, and the excitement wears off. This is precisely how attraction dies, through overexposure and predictability. People don't desire what's always readily available, they desire what sparks their curiosity, keeps them guessing, and creates an emotional connection they can't ignore. It's not about being distant or playing games, it's about understanding the delicate balance of human psychology, knowing when to take a step forward and when to take a step back, and how to create an experience that's so intriguing they can't help but want more. The ancient Stoics grasped this concept well. They knew that control wasn't about forcing outcomes but about mastering the art of presence and absence. As Seneca once said, luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. The same principle applies to attraction. It's not about forcing someone to want you, it's about becoming the kind of person they naturally gravitate toward. And today, I'm going to share with you exactly how to make that happen, how to make them think about you even when you're not around, how to build a presence so strong that your absence is felt, and how to ensure you're the one they keep coming back to. But here's the deal: you have to watch until the very end, because, at the end of this video, I'm going to give you something powerful, something that will change the way you see attraction forever, a key that will unlock a whole new level of confidence and control in your relationships. So, stay with me. Before we dive in, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell icon so you never miss another life-changing lesson. Also, I want you to comment below with the affirmation, "I am valuable," because that's where it all starts, with knowing your own worth. Let's get into it. One way to make them want more is to use the power of words wisely. Words have power, but using too many words can dilute their impact. Every time you open your mouth, you're either drawing them in or pushing them away. Most people think that talking more will keep someone interested, that filling every silence will stop the connection from fading. But real attraction doesn't work that way. The kind of attraction that lingers in their mind long after you're gone, the kind that makes them replay your words, wonder about you, and crave more, comes from something deeper. The ancient Stoics knew this well. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Let your words be few and well considered." They weren't against speaking, they were against wasting words. Every unnecessary sentence dilutes the meaning of what truly matters. A person who speaks with precision, who knows when to pause and when to say just enough, commands a different kind of attention. They don't just talk, they leave an impression. Imagine someone who constantly explains themselves, fills every gap with chatter, or rambles on just to keep the other person engaged. That's not confidence, it's insecurity dressed up in words. A person who truly knows their worth doesn't need to prove it with endless talking. They know that silence isn't a void to be feared, it's a tool to be used. For instance, if someone asks what you're doing this weekend, the average person might spill their whole schedule, hoping to seem interesting or available. But someone who understands the power of restraint might simply say, "I have a few things planned, but I'm looking forward to a relaxing weekend." This response leaves room for curiosity and doesn't reveal too much, making the other person more likely to want to know more. By being mindful of how we use our words, we can create a sense of intrigue and make the other person more interested in getting to know us. It's all about finding the right balance between sharing enough to be engaging and leaving enough to the imagination to keep them wanting more. The rewritten version must meet these requirements. Do not shorten the content compared to the original. If possible, expand slightly with additional explanations or relevant examples. Keep a natural, smooth, and easy-to-understand tone, as if written by a professional content editor. Clarify complex ideas to help beginners understand more easily. Tone of voice, friendly, conversational, yet informative and professional. Original content. The rewritten version must meet these requirements. Do not shorten the content compared to the original. If possible, expand slightly with additional explanations or relevant examples. Keep a natural, smooth, and easy-to-understand tone, as if written by a professional content editor. Clarify complex ideas to help beginners understand more easily. Tone of voice, friendly, conversational, yet informative and professional. Original content. The rewritten version must meet these requirements. Do not shorten the content compared to the original. If possible, expand slightly with additional explanations or relevant examples. Keep a natural, smooth, and easy-to-understand tone, as if written by a professional content editor. Clarify complex ideas to help beginners understand more easily. Tone of voice, friendly, conversational, yet informative and professional. Content. The rewritten version must meet these requirements. Do not shorten the content compared to the original. If possible, expand slightly with additional explanations or relevant examples. Keep a natural, smooth, and easy-to-understand tone, as if written by a professional content editor. Clarify complex ideas to help beginners understand more easily. Tone of voice, friendly, conversational, yet informative and professional. Content. The rewritten version must meet these requirements. Do not shorten the content compared to the original. If possible, expand slightly with additional explanations or relevant examples. Keep a natural, smooth, and easy-to-understand tone, as if written by a professional content editor. Clarify complex ideas to help beginners understand more easily. Tone of voice, friendly, conversational, yet informative and professional. When we think about memorable songs, it's interesting to note that the ones that linger in our minds are not the lengthy ballads that seem to go on forever. Instead, they are the ones that conclude just as we are fully engaged, leaving us humming their tunes long after they have finished. In contrast, songs that overstay their welcome often fade into mere background noise, becoming something we tune out rather than something we eagerly anticipate. This concept of attraction mirrors the dynamics of music. The Stoics had a profound understanding of this principle. They lived with the awareness that everything is transient. No moment, emotion, or individual is permanent. Epicurus, a notable philosopher, advised us not to cling to the hope that events will unfold according to our desires. Instead, we should embrace whatever happens, as this acceptance leads to inner peace. Recognizing the impermanence of life is not just a wise perspective, it is also incredibly appealing. When you genuinely accept that nothing lasts forever, you stop holding on too tightly. You begin to navigate life with a sense of ease, realizing that every interaction, every date, and every experience has its own natural conclusion. You learn not to fear endings, especially before they become dull and uninteresting. Some may worry, what if they forget about me? The truth is, they won't. Our minds are not drawn to what we already possess, rather, they yearn for what remains elusive. This is why we tend to remember those who have made a significant impact on our lives without overstaying their welcome. An unfinished narrative often resonates more deeply than one that drags on indefinitely. Others might ponder, what if they lose interest because I didn't stick around longer? If someone is only interested in you when you are constantly available, then their interest was never genuine, it was merely a matter of convenience. True attraction is not founded on perpetual presence, it thrives in the quiet moments where someone finds themselves wondering when they will see you again, where they notice your absence, and where their thoughts about you begin to fill the void. Who leaves a more lasting impression, the person who remains until the energy wanes, the conversation feels forced, and the other party starts checking their phone, or the one who departs while the other is still smiling, laughing, and wanting just a bit more? The individual who lingers too long becomes predictable and is often taken for granted. In contrast, the one who knows when to walk away at the right moment remains etched in memory as the best version of themselves. This isn't about playing mind games, it's about honoring the natural rhythm of attraction. It's about recognizing that space, real space, fuels desire. Attraction does not require constant stimulation, it needs room to breathe. So, whether it's through your messages, the time you spend together, or even the sound of your voice over the phone, learn to leave just a moment too soon. Allow them to experience the silence that follows your departure, the space where curiosity can flourish. Because when they are left with questions rather than answers, with feelings instead of explanations, that's when they will find themselves wanting more. This is how you remain on their mind long after you have gone. In the face of challenges, many individuals tend to crumble. Let's be honest, tests will inevitably arise. Perhaps someone pulls away, becoming distant to gauge your reaction. Maybe they make a cutting remark aimed at your ego, or they make you feel as though you are slipping down their list of priorities, as if you are merely an option rather than a priority. In these moments, most people panic. They chase after the other person, over-explain their feelings, and inundate them with messages in a desperate attempt to regain control. However, the truth is that control was never theirs to lose. The moment someone realizes they can unsettle you, they understand they hold power over you. Imagine being someone who refuses to be swept up in the currents of external pressure or manipulation. While most people might react impulsively to situations, scrambling to justify their value or explain their actions, a person grounded in Stoicism remains anchored. They don't let fleeting emotions or others' moods dictate their behavior. Their calmness isn't borrowed from circumstances, it's cultivated internally, making it unshakable whether they are met with warmth or coldness, attention or neglect. This rare kind of stability naturally draws people in. Others might wonder, why aren't you panicking when everyone else would? Why do you seem so composed when chaos looms? Is it confidence? Self-awareness? Or perhaps a quiet understanding that life offers more options than desperate clinging? These unanswered questions spark curiosity. Think of it this way: if someone can predict your every reaction, there's no mystery left. But when your responses defy expectations, like staying calm when silence or conflict arises, you shift the dynamic. Suddenly, they are the ones leaning in, intrigued by the gap between what they assumed and how you actually behave. Consider a river. It doesn't beg rocks to move aside. It flows steadily, unbothered by resistance. Similarly, someone who refuses to let external forces rattle their inner world earns a quiet, magnetic authority. Others might ask, won't seeming indifferent push people away? Not exactly. What it communicates is difference, a solidity they can't quite name. That unknown quality holds far more power than frantic explanations ever could. And if someone walks away entirely, perhaps they weren't meant to stay. Authentic connections thrive on mutual respect, not one-sided efforts to prove one's worth. When you embody this quiet confidence, you'll often find people return, not because you chased them, but because your absence created a void they hadn't anticipated. Now, here's another layer: curiosity thrives on space. One of the quickest ways to kill intrigue is overexposure. When you reveal every detail of your life, your past, goals, and thoughts, all at once, there's nothing left to uncover. Mystery fades when there's no room for discovery. But when you share strategically, a glimpse of your humor, a hint of your ambitions, you keep the door ajar, not flung open. They catch fragments of your personality but never the full mosaic. That gap between what they see and what they crave to understand. That's where fascination grows. Maybe they notice how you handle stress with grace but wonder what truly motivates you when no one's watching. Or perhaps you mention your interests without laying out every plan. By offering a taste rather than overwhelming with the full banquet, you invite them to lean closer. After all, humans are drawn to what feels just out of reach, not because it's withholding, but because it invites exploration. So the next time you're tested, whether through distance, silence, or a sharp comment, pause. Resist the urge to chase, argue, or over-explain. Simply exist in your calmness. Let them sit with the weight of your quiet presence. Let their curiosity bloom in the spaces you leave unfilled. Because the person who remains steady amidst turbulence, that's the one they'll remember. Mystery isn't about games, it's about trusting that your essence is worth discovering, one thoughtful layer at a time. Have you ever considered allowing others to be intrigued by you, letting them attempt to unravel the mystery of who you truly are beneath the surface? That effort, that curiosity, that gradual unraveling pulls them in deeper than any story you could tell in its entirety. As Marcus Aurelius once said, the more we value things outside our control, the less control we have. When your life, your value, and your identity become something they have to earn access to, rather than something you freely hand over just to impress them, you maintain control. You demonstrate that your world isn't an open book for just anyone, it's a story that has to be read between the lines, not handed out in one long monologue. Consider a captivating movie trailer. The best ones don't give away the entire plot or spoil the ending. They show just enough to get you excited, to make you start imagining the full story. That's how you should be, a glimpse of where you're headed, a hint of what really makes you tick, but never the full picture all at once. Because curiosity isn't built on what's given, it's built on what's withheld. Some might wonder, but isn't honesty important? Shouldn't I be open? Honesty isn't about dumping everything at once, it's about knowing when to share and who has earned that level of access to you. Most people overshare because they think vulnerability means revealing everything immediately. But real vulnerability is knowing what parts of you deserve to stay private until someone proves they can handle them. Others might ask, but what if they think I'm hiding something? Let them wonder. True intrigue comes from depth, from layers. If you hand everything over in one night, what's left for them to discover? The most compelling people aren't the ones who are the loudest about their lives, they are the ones who make you want to know more, the ones who don't feel the need to over-explain. Most people are quick to lay everything out because they think it will create a connection. They believe that explaining every detail, answering every question in full, will make someone feel closer to them. But connection isn't built through information, it's built through experience. It's not about how much you say, it's about how much they feel when they're around you. So, next time you feel the pull to explain yourself, to tell your whole life story in one sitting, or to answer every question with full detail, pause. Let them wonder. Let their imagination fill in the blanks. Give them just a taste and leave them wanting more. Because that's how curiosity grows, and that's how you stay on their mind long after you've walked away. Be steady as a rock, yet light as the wind. People are drawn to those who keep them on their toes, not in a chaotic or unreliable way, but in a way that keeps them engaged, keeps them guessing. When someone knows exactly how you'll respond, exactly what you'll do next, the excitement fades. But when you move with contrast, playful one moment, deeply focused the next, you create an energy that holds their attention. It's the tension between the known and the unknown that makes them lean in, wondering what side of you they'll get next. Most people either lean too far in one direction or the other. Some are too predictable, always available, always the same, and eventually, they get tuned out. Others are all over the place, erratic, inconsistent, unreliable, which doesn't make someone curious, it just makes them lose respect. But the person who finds the balance between unpredictability and consistency, between mystery and openness, creates an allure that's hard to resist. A truly remarkable individual embodies both stability and adaptability. They stand out because they can adjust when necessary without ever losing sight of who they are. They move through life with intention, shifting direction as circumstances call for, but never seeking approval from others. Such a presence is rare and, therefore, incredibly captivating. Picture this: one moment, you're playfully teasing, radiating light-hearted energy that makes others laugh; the next, you're deeply immersed in your work, ambitions, and thoughts, not distant, but fully engaged in your personal world. This constant and natural change keeps others intrigued because it shows you are multidimensional, layered, yet fundamentally solid at your core. Achieving this balance isn't just about drawing people in, it's rooted in self-command and mastery. The Stoics, ancient philosophers renowned for their wisdom, believed that while our actions should be adaptable and fluid, our principles must remain steadfast. Epictetus, a prominent Stoic thinker, emphasized that no person can truly be free unless they exercise mastery over themselves. This means that you can embrace adaptability, keep others guessing, and display unpredictability in ways that spark curiosity. Still, underneath it all, your foundation remains unwavering. You don't change to seek validation nor shift out of insecurity; instead, you evolve because it's ingrained in your nature to grow, challenge yourself, and explore the world around you. This authentic dynamism is genuinely magnetic. Some might worry that if you don't act consistently, you'll seem unreliable. But the truth is, consistency isn't about acting identically every moment, it's about maintaining a core that remains steady amidst changing circumstances. It's about demonstrating that you can be playful and serious at the same time, spontaneous yet disciplined, warm-tempered yet capable of stepping back when needed. This profound depth encourages others to stay engaged, because if you can be neatly confined within a box, they'll eventually stop trying to understand you. Conversely, if your complexity remains a mystery, their curiosity will be piqued, prompting them to seek you out repeatedly. While stability is undeniably attractive, it doesn't imply predictability. Stability means being true to who you are while allowing yourself to be dynamic. It involves the ability to shift and adapt without losing your authenticity. Think of the ocean, its surface constantly changing and unpredictable, yet beneath it lies an unwavering strength and groundness. The ocean's stability is in its persistent presence, powerful and reliable, even as its outward appearance varies. That is the sort of presence that leaves a lasting impression long after you've left a room. Don't hesitate to introduce variety into your interactions. Keep things fresh and engaging, creating moments of contrast between light and shadow, between spontaneity and calm assurance. Know that at your core, you are unshakable. A person who embodies both unpredictability and a solid foundation is unforgettable. Furthermore, the power of silence should not be underestimated. Space and absence are some of the most effective tools when used thoughtfully. Many people fear silence, rushing to fill every moment of quiet, thinking that constant communication equates to connection. But true curiosity and genuine engagement require space, air to breathe, allowing thoughts to settle and spark deeper reflection. Stepping back, not out of anger or punishment, but from a position of calm self-respect, offers room for others' minds to wander and ponder. This subtle act of withdrawal encourages intrigue. They begin to replay conversations, wonder about your thoughts, and question your serenity in their absence. Most individuals mistakenly believe that maintaining attraction depends solely on relentless effort, on always proving oneself, showing up, reassuring, entertaining, and controlling the narrative. But the person who understands the power of presence also recognizes that strategic absence can be even more impactful. When you can step back gracefully, with quiet confidence, free from bitterness or fear, you communicate a profound message without uttering a word: I am complete, with or without you. This calm detachment signifies strength and independence, making your presence all the more compelling. The rarity of self-mastery is what makes it so intriguing. It's not about being indifferent, rather, it's about having control over oneself. This concept aligns with the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, who emphasized that we possess power over our thoughts, not the external circumstances around us. When you truly understand this, you will discover a profound strength within yourself. Embracing this mindset allows you to step back from situations with confidence, knowing your own worth. Others can sense this self-assurance, and as a result, they may begin to seek reassurance that they still have a connection with you. Picture someone who is constantly in your space, always talking, and readily available. In such a scenario, there's little left to ponder, and no opportunity for longing or desire to develop. However, when a person takes a step back, not out of drama or resentment, but with a sense of effortless ease, it creates a void. Human nature is inherently curious and often seeks to fill that void with thoughts, questions, and intrigue. For instance, if you were texting someone daily and then suddenly pull back, not to play mind games, but to concentrate on your own work, goals, and peace of mind, this shift can plant a seed of curiosity in their mind. They might start to wonder, why aren't they reaching out? Are they losing interest? Is there someone else? The more space you create for these thoughts, the more they begin to feel your absence, and that's where desire can flourish in the gaps you leave behind. Some may worry, but what if they forget about me? The truth is, people tend to forget what is overly familiar and always present. They don't forget what has made a significant impact on their lives. The absence of something valuable is always felt. Therefore, it's crucial to ensure that your presence was meaningful before you step away. Others might ask, what if they move on? If that happens, it's likely they were never truly invested in the first place. People don't walk away from what fascinates them, they don't move on from something they are still trying to understand. Creating space doesn't drive the right person away, instead, it draws them closer. The individual who knows how to embrace silence, who can step back without feeling insecure, and who allows others to wonder, is the one who becomes unforgettable. A Stoic individual understands that silence is not void, it is rich with meaning, provided you have the confidence to let it linger. So, don't hesitate to take a step back. Allow their imagination to do some of the work and let curiosity thrive in the space you create. When you leave just enough room for them to miss you, that's when they will desire your presence even more. Moreover, some individuals do not chase after approval. They don't feel the need to be in anyone's good graces to validate their worth. Because they don't pursue, they become the ones who linger in others' thoughts. This isn't about arrogance or coldness, it's the quiet confidence of someone who understands that their value is not negotiable. Many believe that the only way to express interest is through chasing, bombarding the other person with messages, seeking their time, and trying to impress them with compliments or constant availability. The issue with this approach is that it reveals who truly holds the power in the relationship dynamic. When someone perceives that you value their attention more than your own self-respect, the balance shifts, and you become the pursuer rather than the prize. A person with a Stoic mindset operates differently. They acknowledge their desires but refuse to become enslaved by them. They seek connection but do not rely on it to feel complete. Their attention is something that must be earned, not freely given simply because someone is attractive or shows a bit of interest. Prioritizing purpose, personal growth, and self-mastery comes first. There's a quiet, unshakable confidence that comes from knowing when to step back when something doesn't align with your values. This self-assuredness creates a powerful presence, signaling to the world that you're present by choice, not out of necessity. In this calm, unwavering stance lies an undeniable allure. People can't help but wonder, why aren't they chasing approval like everyone else? Why don't they seem to crave attention or validation? What is it about their life that makes them so grounded, so unshaken by the opinions of others? It's in this space, between the norm and the extraordinary, that curiosity begins to spark. As the ancient wisdom goes, true wealth isn't about accumulating possessions but about having few desires. The same principle applies to human connections. Constantly seeking validation can become an all-consuming obsession, leaving little room for self-respect. But when you value a relationship without needing it to define your worth, you become something rare, and rarity, by its very nature, holds immense value. Imagine the difference between a faucet dripping endlessly, offering its water to anyone, and a hidden spring deep in the forest, protected by nature, accessible only to those willing to seek it out. The faucet is predictable, taken for granted, and often overlooked. The spring, on the other hand, is mysterious and cherished because it's not available to everyone. This contrast explains why relentless pursuit can undermine intrigue. When you're always the first to reach out, to text, to call, or to ask if someone is free, you leave no room for mystery. Predictability breeds indifference. But how do you show genuine interest without coming across as overly eager? The key is to strike a balance. Real interest doesn't mean overwhelming someone with constant attention. It means being fully present and engaged during your interactions without making your entire world revolve around them. It's about offering depth and thoughtfulness, substantial conversations instead of endless small talk, meaningful gestures instead of relentless reminders of your presence. Some might worry, if I stop chasing, won't the other person forget about me? The truth is, people don't forget what stands out. They forget what's easily accessible. When you're always on someone's screen, always explaining your worth, you become like a billboard that everyone passes by without really noticing. But when your presence is something earned, not guaranteed, you're no longer just a constant in their life, you're an experience worth revisiting and rediscovering. Others might fear, what if they meet someone else because I didn't chase hard enough? If a connection depends on constant pursuit, it's not built on genuine respect or chemistry. Relationships rooted in mutual respect and shared interest, however, only grow stronger with time, even when there's distance. The right people are drawn to substance, not just availability. Consider the ancient Stoics, who focused on what they could control, themselves, and let go of what they couldn't. They understood that tying your self-worth to external validation is a battle you can't win. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. This same principle applies to human dynamics. You can't force someone to feel a certain way about you, but you can cultivate a sense of self that is unshakable. When you value your time, energy, and peace as deeply as a Stoic would, you naturally stop chasing. You don't withdraw your affection or become distant, you simply stop placing someone else on a pedestal. And that shift is profound. It says, quietly but clearly, my life is meaningful, with or without you. Whether you're physically present or not doesn't diminish the potential for connection, it simply means that connection is an enhancement, not the entirety of your foundation. Imagine a tree with robust roots. When a storm hits, the branches may sway, but the trunk remains steadfast. People who constantly chase others often resemble leaves, fragile and at the mercy of the wind. However, those who understand their worth are like the trunk, grounded, stable, and full of life. This kind of presence is undeniable and doesn't plead for attention, instead, it naturally captivates because it's so rare. When someone realizes that you're not afraid to walk away, that your life is already fulfilling on its own, it ignites a deeper, more profound curiosity. Why aren't they dependent on me like others are? What fuels their unshakable confidence? These questions create a fascination that simple flattery or endless messages can't achieve. Desire, in its purest form, doesn't mean rejecting the joy of connection, it means refusing to sacrifice your self-worth for someone else's approval. In that space of quiet confidence, you invite others to enter your world as equals, and that's what leaves a lasting impression long after everything else fades. Many people carry a rare vibe, one that avoids the extremes. When trying to captivate someone, many either become overly eager, constantly chasing, always available, desperate to prove their worth, or they swing too far in the opposite direction, becoming distant, aloof, or emotionally unavailable in an attempt to seem mysterious. Neither approach fosters genuine attraction. There's a middle ground, a rare energy that flows with balance, fully present one moment, purposefully absent the next, without apology or guilt. This ebb and flow creates a rhythm that others can't fully predict or control, drawing them in and leaving them wanting more. When your time, attention, and presence become as valuable to you as they are to others, everything shifts. Many people scatter their attention carelessly, as if it has no real value, hoping that an overflow of interest will prove their worth. But attention that's always available soon loses its impact. It's those who treat their time like gold, who share their presence selectively, who become the most valued and remembered. Seneca famously noted that nothing is as precious as time, yet people waste it as if it were nothing. A Stoic-minded individual understands that time is life itself and is therefore mindful of how it's spent. This person isn't cold, they are intentional. They are not withholding, they are discerning. Such a mindset radiates a magnetic energy because it sends a clear, unspoken message: I value myself, and I expect that value to be acknowledged. Consider this scenario: you're on a date, and you choose to be fully present. You keep your phone in your pocket, and your attention is locked on the other person, listening deeply and engaging completely. They feel this focused presence, almost like a spotlight shining just on them. But when the evening ends, you don't linger or flood them with texts. Instead, you return to your own pursuits, your own orbit. The uncertainty of when they'll experience that level of presence again makes it infinitely more cherished. Too many people believe that presence equals constant proximity, but true presence, the kind that lingers in someone's thoughts, comes from contrast. It's the presence of someone grounded enough to be fully engaged when they are there but rare enough to spark curiosity. They understand the power of surprise, of letting people wonder when that heightened attention might come again. This discussion isn't about engaging in games or trying to appear superior, rather, it focuses on living a life filled with depth and understanding that your existence encompasses numerous significant aspects beyond just one relationship. This multifaceted approach fosters a unique atmosphere, one that is inviting yet slightly elusive. Some may wonder if being constantly available is the best way to demonstrate care for someone. In certain situations, this is indeed true, especially when genuine needs arise or mutual support is crucial. However, in the context of attraction and intrigue, being overly available can diminish excitement. Just as rare treasures are not found scattered carelessly on the ground but are often safeguarded or concealed, only revealed to those who earnestly seek them, your time and presence become more valuable when they are not perpetually accessible. People might question whether this strategy is manipulative, suggesting that it aims to make someone desire you by being less available. However, this is not the case when you genuinely lead a fulfilling life that does not center around another person's attention. Scarcity only becomes manipulative if you intentionally withhold your presence to create a false sense of worth. True rarity stems from a sincere commitment to your own growth, passions, and peace of mind. When you have a purpose that drives you, you will naturally be less inclined to offer unlimited access to your attention. This quiet confidence and sense of direction cannot be feigned for long, it must arise from authentic interests and aspirations. Consider the analogy of being a mountain rather than a leaf. A leaf is easily swayed by the wind, constantly in motion and lacking stability. In contrast, a mountain stands firm. It may be beautiful, challenging, or even intimidating, but it does not bend to the whims of the wind. People admire mountains, marvel at their grandeur, and ponder the hidden paths and caves along their slopes. This sense of stability, combined with the subtle unpredictability of what one might discover, keeps people intrigued. At the core of this unique vibe is the ability to be present, engaged, and attentive when you choose to be, without relying on constant validation to feel complete. You become valuable not by withholding your presence, but by genuinely cherishing it. You show up wholeheartedly and then comfortably retreat into your own life without making a fuss. This rhythm allows others the opportunity to miss you, to reflect on the moments you shared, and to understand that regaining your attention is not a given. Carrying this rare vibe is not about superiority or arrogance, it is about acknowledging your own depth and granting others the privilege of discovering it gradually. When you maintain a strong sense of self-worth and regard your attention as something precious, people often reciprocate that sentiment. You stand out not because you are loud or distant, but because you combine presence with self-respect in a manner that few are willing or able to achieve. This is what lingers in their minds long after the conversation has concluded, igniting curiosity and leaving them eager for more.